Good morning, everyone. I don't even know if it's 4 o'clock yet. I've been up for an hour. Got up at 3. And I just thought I could talk. We need to talk. I'm sitting here on my desk. What is this? Planning division. Okay, well, I don't care. There's nothing I can do to stop it. You can't fight City Hall, and you can't stop a railroad, and that's what's happening around me. Railroads are being built, and City Hall is doing stuff, modernizing itself, and we as Somerville residents have been demanding modernization, and when they do it, of course, we complain because we can. So on the back of this planning envelope, I wonder what the message says. Let's just read it. These are what my bills look like. They're unopened as well. Oh, let's just see. Oh, there's us. This actually concerns. Here I am. I live right there. And what are they saying? Come chat with us when it's convenient. This area of Somerville, right? Even, I suppose some people might even include Brick Bottom, or the building I live in calling this a wasteland. Right over here is a Mercedes-Benz dealership, which I'm sure would not be considered wasteful, but all this area here, including our building, is sort of a dumpy old building. There's nothing particular. This is kind of new-ish, but this could be turned into luxury condos. And City Hall, which is way up here somewhere, would love to have the property taxes for luxury condos rather than a vacant lot where they store school buses, or this vacant building now waiting for a tenant, or this vacant lot where they store trucks for the power company. Those all can be put somewhere else, because this could be a luxury condo. Anyway, who knows what they want to do. But I know that everyone in our building will somehow think that we don't deserve to have any sort of... We want our roads not to have potholes, but we don't want to have a luxury apartment right there. I don't know why. Who else is going to buy my art other than rich people? And if rich people lived there, they'd fix the potholes of my street. You know, you can't have one without the other. If we want to live all by ourselves, then we can't complain about the potholes, I don't think. Why am I telling you this? Just because I opened it up. It's the envelope. It's the back of the envelope that has the facts that I wanted to speak about. So if you're paying any attention to my videos about my artwork I'm working on right now, I am building this landscape, cityscape essentially, in the gallery around a column that's 3 feet in diameter, octagonal column that goes up to 12 feet above the ground. You hear that little beeping noise in the background? That's the railroad being built at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. They're not supposed to start till 6. And this is Easter, by the way. So they're supposed to be in church, giving each other COVID-19. But anyway, I found, as I was trying to clear off my desk, I found this sketch. And I found that sketch. And these are both preliminary drawings I did of the art piece that's in the gallery right now. That's not quite finished. It's almost finished, but not quite. And these sketches are so much more interesting than the thing I've labored over. I spent maybe not quite a minute on this one, and maybe 2 minutes on this one. And this has so much more life than the thing that's downstairs that I spent weeks on. Weeks and weeks. Hours and hours. And part of it is the scale of this. And part of it is, this was kind of my original idea, was to sort of zoom in a little bit more than I did. I zoomed out when I started building it and showed smaller buildings and more land for tractors and stuff. So my raising of the horizon line and scaling certain things back, I changed the entire feel of this original idea. And looking back at this original idea, I wish I had brought this thing down to the gallery with me to follow it. There's something that's really raw and gutsy about this. I'm imagining what this would look like for real, using the cardboard pieces and around the column and the size of me. I'm about this tall compared to this drawing, and if this represents a tractor, which it does, the wheels on the tractor are about the size of my head, and I sort of wished I had kept this scale, because it would be crude and bold and aggressive and better than it ended up being. This one, as I was sketching it out and trying to decide what I wanted to do, maybe this one was going to be more about just the cranes and not about the city so much. And this down here, this little triangular bit down here, represents the ground, and this is more of a skyline view, and or looking up at the sky view. And I like that too. It's very different from this, even though you may not see the differences. But this is sort of about the delicacy of these things versus the urban renewal and or whatever, building a city, and just the chaos of the city being built. I see in this sketch, and I see the gracefulness of the cranes here, or something. I see two different messages come across between these two drawings. I wonder if there's a third drawing here underneath the debris field. I have many drawings. I have drawings I did on the iPad describing this. I have drawings I've done on other pieces of paper describing this. And this gets me to, and I'm working on now, something that, again, is becoming a labor. And I'm losing what the original idea is in the belaborment of the creating the thing for real. And I just wanted to share with you the sorrow that I feel when I actually do artwork, because it starts out when I have an idea in my little head. It starts out with this bright light bulb, like a little nova going off. It just shines. It just turns on and shines really bright in my head, and I think, oh my God, it would be great to do that. And then I sketch it out so my eyes can understand what my brain is thinking, and the light bulb usually gets a little bit brighter. And I think it's a really good idea, and in my head I imagine this thing finished, and it's beautiful, and people are flocking to see it, and there's lines waiting outside, and people are getting into fist fights because they want to see it before the next guy, and there are scalpers scalping tickets to get to see the exhibition, to see my fantastic work, and they're scalping tickets for millions of dollars just because they want to see my beautiful creation. Well, that I've never had that thought before, but anyway, in my mind's eye, I imagine this thing sort of finished in my head, and then I start making it. I start actually taking this drawing, going to a bigger piece of paper and getting my ruler out and getting my, making sure that it's the right proportions or whatever I'm doing, whether it's a monogram or a flat drawing or a wedding invitation or anything. If I have a germ of an idea that's really, really cool, and then I start actually making it, that light bulb gets dimmer every second that I continue to work on it. And it just, there's a song by Stephen Sondheim called Every Day a Little Death. That's what happens with my artwork when I actually start making it. The bright, raw idea as I work on it is killed by slicing off a little with, it's like being, you'll either step up to the guillotine and the blade comes crashing down on top of you and you're gone in a second, or very slowly you go through the Hobart slicing machine at the deli and you have it's set at extra thin. So every second another little slice of you comes off, and the idea painfully gets dimmer and dimmer and dies more and more. So how do I keep this working? Do I just go downstairs and take the thing down that I just spent weeks on, or do I leave that up and do another one? Should I have realized earlier that this was going to happen when I started making it big? As big as it is, 12 feet tall and 4 feet wide, and 4 times pi in diameter, or 4 times 13 inches times 8. It's an octagonal column, so that's how big it is. You do the math. I don't have my slide rule in front of me. I do have a slide rule right behind me. Should I just get it? I lied to you. I moved them to a different part of my house. They used to be right back behind me, but now they're not. So anyway, it's a big piece, and things that are large and things that are tall and things that involve a lot of color and things that involve just lots of stuff take time to actually even get the basic part of it together. Takes a lot of time, and in that time I'm going through the slicer, because the slicer goes at a steady space, and then the light bulb gets dimmer. So one of the things that in order for me to retain I'm just going to talk about a flat drawing right now. In order for me to retain the excitement that I see in this drawing, if I am now have a new piece of paper and I'm going to draw it for real, this is a sketch, this is another sketch, but this is the thing that the client is paying for there, or that I want to frame, or whatever. The final thing is here. And let's say I have to, where is the pencil in my house? Let's say I have to plan it out with a pencil and be more careful and accurate and things like that. How can I, in being more accurate, retain this? And I've learned something in my years of doing this, is the scale. If I can keep the scale of the finished piece small-ish, it works. If I make this too big and I have to use 10 times as many little cross-hatchy lines to make it finished, I get bored really, really quick. Or the stroke that I make is longer than I want it to be, so not only do I lose the sort of quickness of a line that works fine in a sketch, but when I make it long like this, there's imperfections to this, or there's qualities to this line that don't exist in this line. So I've learned that if I'm able to draw a finished piece, let's say this is something I'm making that's going to be printed, scanned in and printed and reduced to, this big on a invitation. If I draw it really, really big with lots and lots of detail, it takes a lot of time to make it, for one thing. And it also, when it's reduced, a lot of the really fine lines will disappear, and all of that work is kind of for naught. And I don't want that to happen either. So figuring the optimum size of the original drawing, the original final drawing, is an important factor for me. And I almost always make it too big. So Pierre, can you just learn that lesson? Don't use the big column. I could go up to the building I live in has 5 stories. Cross section shows this kind of a thing. And each story, this has to support the bottom first floor column, has to support the building above it. This second floor column has to support on fewer floors. So the columns get thinner as they go up. Maybe I should have built this on the 5th floor, because the diameter, the facets on this octagonal thing are maybe 6 inches. Here they're 14, and they go down at least an inch going up. And the ones on top here seem really, really delicate, where the ones down here seem really stocky. So had I built this on this floor, I might not have run into the problems that I'm running into here. So anyway, I'm just looking at this beautiful pen. With a beautiful nib. So it's discovering the scale, keeping the scale relatively smaller than I normally would want taking a smaller portion at the all-you-can-eat buffet is better than filling up your plate, because you don't have to eat all of it. You're done faster. Anyway, if I pick a smaller canvas to draw, I can retain the things that I love about this drawing that I do not see in the finished piece. So I may just build this again on the 5th floor, or again a little, tabletop size. Maybe this is 2 feet tall rather than 12 feet tall. I have to figure this out. So I notice when I am capping pens these days that I miss. I don't know what's wrong with me. My depth perception is gone. I'm looking essentially out of only one eye these days. I'm trying to ignore my right eye because my right eye is... Why is my right eye on the left side of my face? If you were to look at me right now, I mean, it's just it's a dumb way that here's me. Imagine that I look like George Clooney, though, or someone handsome. My right eye is on the left. That's the left side of the face, right? So this is the eye that isn't working very well. If I look at a straight line that's drawn on my page, I'm closing my left eye sees this, left, and I close my right eye, and my right eye sees this. That's not good. Bad eye. Bad. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that all sorts of words I didn't understand, that to fix this issue, they have to take a knife and go into my eyeball and scrape away something that's causing this to happen. So remove stuff that's built up on my retina, or it sounds like it's built up on my retina. My retina has something on it that they have to scrape away with a knife. Fun, huh? So that's one thing. This is not going to make me go blind quickly. It is making me not be able to see very well out of my right eye, but it's not making me go blind. The other things that are happening to my eyes are making me go blind. And I have to see another doctor about those, and that's happening to both my eyeballs. Oh, those look like boobs. That doesn't, not that you know they're boobs, nipples, anyway, my eyeballs, there's my eyeballs. In order to fix both of them, I have to have laser surgery done, and that's on something that if I don't do it, I asked the doctor, I said, well, when is this going to happen? When is this issue, if I don't get this laser thing, do I wake up one morning and I'm blind, or do I have some warning signs first? And he said that my eyes would be in horrible pain. And would be an emergency, but they could fix it. Anyway, and this was an operation I was supposed to have 2 years ago. And because of various things and my father's death and being in Minnesota rather than having my surgery was scheduled, and it didn't happen because of life, or in this case, death and dying. I couldn't have it done, so I'm meeting now with a new surgeon because my insurance company decided to change on me. So I'm meeting a new surgeon in June to talk about setting up a schedule to have my eyes laser beamed and fixed. And then 6 months from now, I'll talk to this doctor with the knife to decide about this operation. He said, if this doesn't bother you, it's fine. And, sometimes looking out, I'm closed my right eye, my left eye now, so I'm looking only out of my broken eyeball that, I could live. I might end up, it's funny, I opened up my left eye and I thought, oh my God, it's happening to my left eye too. Okay, I was looking at this page, that thing. This would take some getting used to if I saw this out of both eyes when the world is actually that, and I see this. I may, when urinating, I might piss all over the floor or the wall or something, and I might have to learn to aim differently, or I might, never be able to thread a needle ever again if this was how I'd have to look. I may have to give up calligraphy. Let me try something here. I'm going to close both eyes, and I'm going to see if I could see how well I do in calligraphing an envelope. Okay. Move this around. Okay, here's the envelope. I'm already. Let's see how well I do. I don't even know if the pen is hitting the right way. Mr. and Mrs. I used to do John Smith, so I'll try a different name. Thomas Jones. And rather than 123 Western Avenue, which is what I always write, I'll do 62 Mount Vernon Street. 62 Mount Vernon Street. And rather than Boston, Mass, I'll say Melrose. New Jersey. One 10078. Open my eyes. Oh. Well, that's not bad for blind. It's better. They're spaced further apart than I thought they'd be, but that would help the mailman get it through the rain and sleet and snow. I don't know. The ice caps are melting. World is coming to an end, and if I see a little bumpy line, I shouldn't complain. Scale. Maybe I need to figure out, maybe it's the temporal aspect as well. If I work on something longer than an hour, or longer than a week, or longer than, or, for a certain size of a thing, maybe I need to work fast before the little slicer gets to the vital organs and kills it completely. There is it would be great, yes. Oh my God, it would be so great. And sometimes it does work where I have an idea and I start working on it and I get a different idea to make it even better and make it better and better and better. And every minute I work on something, it gets brighter and cooler and hotter and everything. And I don't want to stop because it's just perfect. And it's just getting even better. Has that ever happened to me? It happened, there have been a few times in my life where I can't wait to get out of bed and run down and work on a project. Usually it's a series. You know, I do 1, I love it. I do 2, I still love it. I do 3, I love it even more. And I come down and I start doing things. And that's how it started with these little trucks I'm making. But maybe the idea is just getting old on me now. Maybe that's part of it. So, I don't know. It's not easy being me. Is it? No, it isn't. This is my coelacanth fish head I made. There we go. That's how I make it go. Yes. Oops. See, this was fun. I don't need to do another thing to this. This is a perfect example of when I should stop. If I wanted to say, okay, let's make it better, let's use green cardboard and let's add some scales and a nostril or whatever the fish have on their face. But I can tell right now that it would be a disaster. This is the perfect way for this thing to exist. It's done. And it's perfect, and people are waiting in line, scalping tickets to be able to see this beautiful thing, which I'm showing to you guys for free. If you want to buy this for yourself, click here, add to shopping cart, $1 million. Use the special code at the end of the video and you'll get 10% off and free shipping. Yes. Okay. Time for more coffee. Say goodbye. Bye. Goodbye. Bye.